All right, I'm live. I have 0 viewers right now, so I'm just going to be sitting here doing some work until I have some people pop on, and hopefully we'll be able to have some fun. I haven't really used Google Hangouts on Air for this exact purpose before, so it's going to be an adventure. Let's just say that. But that's what this is all about, trying to learn. I'm going to go ahead and try to pull this up on my other computer just to see what it looks like. I'm going to go ahead and try to pull this up on my other computer just to see. I'm still trying to figure out how to tell if other people are here, how to get other people on the call and asking questions so that I can answer them. on my screen, I have a chat, but the computer, I'm not having the chat option. I do have the Q&A option. If I hover over the little thing that looks like a Rubik's Cube in the top right, I can click on Q&A and it lets me ask a question there. So if you are here, you can use that for right now while I'm trying to figure out if there's any other options here. Looks like we have someone here. I am still trying to figure out how to get your questions. Right now, the only way I can figure it out is the question and answer box. You have to hover over in the top right and click the bunch of little squares that looks kind of like a Rubik's Cube and switch to the question and answer app. It'll show up on the right side, and then you can type a question in there. But for some reason, I cannot find a good way to interact. I know there's a way to do it, and I'm just trying to figure it out. Sorry, I'm somewhat new to Google Hangouts on air. Kelly, I can see your question. Test, test. Um, hmm. It's still not giving me the interaction that I'd like to have. I don't want to just sit here and talk without being able to hear some feedback. So I'm trying to see if there's a way for me to get this a little more live, like a chat, or get somebody else on the video. Kelly, are you logged in with a Gmail account or a Google account? Might be getting somewhere here, at least for people who have Google accounts. See Christina's question there. Well, it's not really a question. Hey there. I still wish there was a better way to get the chat up. Does anyone else know Google Hangouts and to get the group chat? I have a feature here that says a group chat. I think you have to be in as a Google user. Let me invite you two for right now. Let's see what happens. Let's see. Okay, so I just sent invites to Kelly and Christina, and you should. There's Kelly. Found you. Awesome. And Christina, I sent yours as well. You'll get it in your either in your Google Plus or your Gmail. Let's see here. So I think Kelly should be able to see the group chat now that she's in. Might have to click the little chat icon over on the left. It's the first one on the top underneath the little pencil, if you have that. There's also a lag I found. I'm not sure if there's a lag when you're logged in or if it's just for the people viewing it without being logged in. Kelly, you probably can't see your video because you may be turned off. Let's see if I can get you on here. looks like it says you're on mobile. Is that right? I just got your message. I'll be there in a minute on Facebook. Okay, so Kelly is definitely on. She needed to take her puppy out. Um, Christina is seeing this, I think, but okay, and she's able to ask questions here, but I don't think she's logged in to the actual Hangout. Christina, I sent a message over here on regular Google Chat and told you to basically go to your Google Plus profile, and then over on the left hand underneath the logo, click on Hangouts, and then you should see an invite from me there for the Hangout. And I'm not sure what the viewers count on my screen if it's accurate or not, because it's saying I have 0 viewers right now, but it still says that Kelly is live. Well, now it says I have 1 viewer. I just cannot. I think it's a little glitchy whenever you're doing it on air, or at least it's not as reliable as using it with some other software. So I'm just not quite used to it. Last time I used Google Hangouts on air, I was using it with some software that was specifically intended for webinars that allowed things like chats, and the native features from Google are just not, they don't work unless you are using your Google account and logged in as an actual guest of the webinar. Just the regular viewers can't interact in the same way. So that's what I didn't know earlier when I was trying to figure this out. So I think we're just going to kind of go with it and see what we can do. If it's not helpful and we're going on and nobody can keep up with it, or if it's not working, I have my phone here, so we can FaceTime or just talk on the phone a little bit, and I'll just keep broadcasting it to the other people who are viewing. So if you do want to do that, just let me know in the Q&A section, and we can go to the phone if this video is just not working. So Christina, if you're still here and you can hear me, go ahead and type something else in the Q&A. I am currently answering C, but can't find the chat window. Frowny face. Can you guys still see me now? I just clicked a button that said stop presenting to everyone, but I think I still am by default. Looks like we've got Anna. She left a comment here. Christina's she's having problems with the chat for some reason. It's not letting her in. Christina, I'm going to try inviting you one more time, and if this doesn't work, we'll just go with what we've got, and you can use the Q&A. Because I think you said you wanted to really just listen while you're working on some other stuff anyways. Let's see here, Christina. All right, I sent you a new invite, so look for that again one more time. You may have to close the window and look for that invite. There you are. Haha. That worked. So now you should be able to see the full features. You should be able to use the chat over here. See if you got that message. Also, I should be able to unmute, see if we can hear you. Christina, can you say something? Well, I'll tell you one thing. I'm definitely going to figure out how to do this better for next time. I know there's a better way. Christine, are you still not able to see the chat? I'm not seeing you. I see that you're in there now, but I haven't seen you say anything in that chat yet. Also, it looks like both of you may be on a mobile device, and it's not allowing me to unmute you. Weird. So weird. So is anyone there now? I think what we're gonna have to do is if y'all are not able to see the chat, I've been typing. Oh, I see Kelly now. Hey.
Can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So weird that you're just all of a sudden it's allowing me to do the right controls. What did you change just now when you got back on?
I just pressed join.
So you were not joined before?
It said like I was invited, and then I went to go take my dog out, and then I came back and pressed join.
Okay. Interesting. Well, I can see you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, good to meet you.
Thanks so much for taking the time to do this.
Yeah, I wish that I had done a little better job in preparing to work with Google Hangouts on air. I just cannot quite get it to work like I want it to. See the chat. I've been typing. Oh, I see Kelly now. Hey.
Can you hear me?
I can. Whoa.
Yeah.
What is going on?
Like a repeat of everything else.
You're just all of a sudden you have it open in multiple windows. Now when you got back on.
I just pressed join. I feel like.
So you were not joined before?
It said like I was invited, and then I went to go take my dog out,
Interesting.
and then I came back and pressed join.
Okay. Interesting. Well.
Can you hear what I hear?
Yes, I'm hearing it replay on your computer.
Thanks so much for taking the time to do this.
Yeah, I wish that I had have it open on two different windows. Or
I think we're on. Here, I'm gonna close this other one.
Yeah, do that and see what happens.
Okay. I think I was listening to two. I had like two different ones up.
I think that's why I was seeing you were there before you just pressed join, and now.
Yeah, the other format, I wasn't able to have a video, and then I added you into my circle at Google Plus, and then you invited me to a call separately.
Yeah.
So the first time I just clicked on the link that you put in the email, and it brought me to be able to see you, but I couldn't join it. But I mean, I could join it, but I couldn't do a video.
Right.
And then once you and I were in the same circle in Google Plus, then I saw your video invite.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'll definitely have to figure this out a little bit better. But for now, this works.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like anyone else is actually on. Christina is listening, I think. So that's it
Okay.
looks like. I've got my I've got my other computer
Okay.
over here, so that's why I'm like looking off to the other side.
Right, right, right.
Looks like
Is
Anna.
it still, I mean, worth your time another
I don't
time
have
if it's
anything
better
else
for
to
you?
do, so we might as well. I want to have lots of stuff to do, but
Right, right, right. Yeah, and I can't say the whole thing that you said, like the 2 hours. I have questions.
say that one more time. I didn't hear that last thing you said. It broke up.
I won't be able to say the whole 2 hours, but that you kind of allotted. But I do have some questions, so I was like, well, if you're here, I'd love to ask you some questions.
Cool. Well, let's go ahead and just kind of talk about some of the stuff that you're dealing with. I read your question on Facebook, and
Yeah.
I think
I was
that
like, were you hoping to go through information and then we just respond, or were you just going to kind of go off questions, or what kind of format were you thinking?
well, since right now it's just me and you talking, why don't we just have a conversation instead of
Okay.
anything else? I'm gonna actually pull up your page on my other computer so I can look at it at the same time.
Okay. I'll pull up my page too.
So I think the problem that you're having is kind of the thing that everyone's asking about right now.
Right.
And the first thing that you really have to understand is that you're not really doing anything wrong necessarily. That doesn't mean there aren't some things that you could do different to be better, but the stuff that you're doing, from my what I've looked at so far, it seems like you're doing a lot of things the right way. So um, it is
Okay.
it's disappointing whenever you're getting just a few likes on your post, but you do have to understand that Facebook in the past couple of months has significantly changed. I mean, it's been changing over the past couple of years, but
Right.
even more so. I mean, I think it was about a year and a half ago whenever they really started bringing down the reach, but still people were getting in the anywhere from 15 to 30% of their fan base, and then it was down to less than 10%. Now the average they say is about 3% of your fan base is seeing a post.
Crazy.
But I'm seeing on my page significantly more than that, and so there are some very specific reasons for that, and then there's
Okay.
some luck in that, and then there's some sometimes I don't get that kind of response. So I'm pulling up my page too, just so I'll have it at the same time. So why don't you go ahead and pull up your insights? I won't be able to see that, but if you can,
Okay.
we can talk about what you have.
Okay.
And then go to the posts tab.
Post reach or oh no, post tab. Okay, at the top.
Yep.
Okay.
And then here you should see a list of your posts with reach and engagement, all that kind of stuff there.
Yeah.
So tell me, like, what are some of the numbers that you're seeing there on reach? What is a post normally getting there for you?
Well, it ranges a lot. Like the most recent one, the reach was like 810, and then there's some reach that has like like the next one before that was like 500, and the one before that was like 1,000,
Hmm.
and the one before that was like 176,
Yeah,
and then so it ranges between like 200 and 1,000,
right.
or like seven. The one that was like there was one last week that got a little bit more. It was like 1.7K or whatever.
Hmm. So do you see anything right off the bat in common between the ones that are more popular?
Um,
A type of post or
yeah, I mean, I think the one, and I try to do more of that too, but there was one picture that I did last week that was a picture, I think you could scroll and see it, but it's the first look that I did with the bride and her dad, and it's very emotional. And so the dad was like crying, and so then, and I wrote something that was about, you know, something beautiful about a relationship between, you know, a father-daughter relationship.
Yep.
And so then that got a lot of response from like the family.
Yeah.
A lot of people like sharing it. So it had like one person shared it and 73 people liked it, which is more for my page than normal. So that was like a very emotional picture.
Yeah, for sure. And
which I think, like, you know, I try to post emotional pictures, but I don't know if it's different, if it's a different emotion besides just like a love between a bride and a groom. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So let's kind of back up for a second and I want to hear some more information about your business and what you're trying to do here. So obviously it's nice to just know that people are seeing what you're posting, because if they're not, then it's like a waste of time.
Right.
I also see that you said that you're posting on Instagram and getting a better response there a lot of times. Are you pretty active on Instagram?
Yeah. I mean, I post like every day or sometimes twice a day, but usually just once.
Yeah.
Or not today. Yeah, today I posted this morning, and it was just a picture of like, you know, fruit, like from the Pike Place, and it has like 50 likes on it.
Yeah. How many followers do you have on Instagram?
1,145.
Which is pretty good for an Instagram account. But you have double that, or more than double that on Facebook.
Right, I have double that, and I get so much less response. I mean, I have other posts, but like my average, I mean, I get a lot of posts that are like usually minimum 30 likes. Sometimes they get 100. Sometimes, you know what I mean, on Instagram.
Yep.
So I
here,
feel like I'm posting content. Hopefully, I mean, at least Instagram followers think the content is interesting, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, I'm looking at your Facebook, and the images look great. I mean, it's not like the content is bad, and it's not like your methods are bad. I did run it through Likealizer. Did you ever see that in the Trello board about Likealizer? I don't know.
I don't know what Trello is.
Yeah.
I can try to see if I can find it.
No, don't worry about it right now. So I ran there's a thing called Likealizer, which just analyzes your page and tells you some information about it.
Okay. Likealizer?
Yeah, let me type it in chat so you can. I'm on two different computers. I'm like trying to copy and paste from one to the other. It doesn't work like that.
Oh.
I don't know if you can see that chat now.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Okay. So one thing you mentioned on Facebook that you were posting at a good time of the day. What time of the day would you say on average that you're posting?
I try to post by like around 8 a.m., but that doesn't always happen. But like
on Likealizer, it's saying that you're posting typically between early in the morning, like in that 8 to 10 range.
Yeah.
And it's saying, now Likealizer is not always 100% right, but it's saying that your post between, it's in Greenwich time, I'm trying to convert it, between 7 and, wait, it says 6 to 9, no, 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. are getting more interaction. That's what it's saying. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean it's because...
I do post, I mean, that's what I try to do. I try to post either late at night, because I've heard that people check their phones, like they check Instagram and Facebook like before bed, usually.
And
Like
when,
my husband does. He'll just sit in bed and like look through Facebook like of like what happened that day, you know?
mm-hmm.
And then usually the same thing happens a lot of times in the morning. Like people will like check their phones and stuff in the morning before they start work.
Yeah.
But if you think that if it's saying that more people are engaging at night, then you think that the posts that I really want to feature I should post at night.
Well, it's one of those things. Whenever you're looking at this type of data, correlation doesn't necessarily mean causation here, because basically it could be that you got home from a wedding one time and posted an image, and that one got a lot of likes, just a one-off case data, and saying, oh well, people interact better at this time, even though it was only one or two times. It's kind of something you have to play with, but just know that, like Lazar is saying, that your fans interact the most during that time. Now, what do your guys say? Do you still have that pulled up?
I'm sorry, you kind of cut out. What did you say?
What do your Facebook insights have to say about time? Do you still have that pulled up?
Oh yeah. Let's see here. How do I do that under posts?
Yep, still under post.
Okay, so
You should probably have it. Probably looks kind of like a whale. Mine does.
okay. Well, the high numbers are. It says 1,000 at. It's like all around 1,100 in between, like 8 a.m. and to like 6 p.m. and then it slopes down again
After 6 p.m.
after like 9 p.m.
Yeah, mine drops off steeply after 9 p.m. as well. Which that's something you got to think about too, is that if you post it at 9, the people who are on at 9 can't interact with it very much, because it takes a little bit of time sometimes to get to the people who they don't necessarily see it right when you post it. They see it after a few minutes, or after
Right.
someone else has already interacted with it or whatever.
Is like dinner time a better time to do it? Like
It's
with
really
looking
weird.
at work?
That's what I've been trying to do recently. Post at around 6 or 7 p.m.
Okay.
because then it has a couple of hours to kind of gain some traction before that peak time at 9.
Okay.
Another strategy that you can try, that's something that I've found some success with, is if you are willing to put any money towards boosting posts, that's the time to boost them.
At night?
Early after, yeah, sometime in the afternoon, because what happens is if you go ahead and boost it and you can get some interaction. Basically, when you boost a post, it's running it as a page post engagement ad, which the whole goal is to get engagement on that ad.
Right.
And on that post in this case. So what would be happening is Facebook is going to optimize to get people to interact with the post, and in that case, you're going to get more organic reach because more people are interacting, and so their friends are seeing that they're interacting at that peak time. However, you also have to keep in mind that it is the peak time on Facebook, which means it's the most crowded the news feed is going to be in the entire day. So you're competing against the big dogs whenever you're posting at that time. So
Right.
one of the problems right now, the reason why we're only getting 3% reach, or whatever these small numbers are, and by the way, even yours is significantly higher than 3%, because you get on some of your posts, you're getting 800, 500. Those are big numbers compared to 3%. I mean, for you,
Okay.
it would be 200 and something, 300, something like that. So,
Right. I guess it's like thinking like I'm surprised then if I get 1,000 people that see it and then only like a couple people like it. So then it's like, what do I need to change to have there be more like dialogue? You know what I mean?
for sure. That's another thing I think that has been happening a lot recently, is people are becoming more and more lurkers on Facebook. They are being more conservative with the things that they like, and they're just interacting. So one of the good metrics to look at, whenever you're looking at your insights on that post page, you see the number of, by default, it has the post clicks, and then it has the likes, comments, and shares. The post clicks in blue, and then the likes, comments, and shares in kind of like a
Sorry.
pink.
Where are you now?
On the post tab of the insights still, Looking at the actual post, there's over to the right before the boost post, you'll see the two numbers and
Uh-huh.
a blue and a pink by default. Is that what you're seeing?
Yeah, yeah.
That blue number is more significant right now than that pink number. The pink number is likes, comments, and shares, but the blue number is post clicks. A post click means they're interested enough to look at what you have. That's
And they
eyeballs. That's like real. It's not just they scrolled past it in the newsfeed. That's what reach is. Reach is just they saw it, but that doesn't necessarily mean they interacted. It just passed in their newsfeed, whether they were looking or not. But a
right.
post click means they actually wanted to see it, so they opened it to see it bigger or something like that. So
So
those
this
numbers.
last picture I just posted, it says 108 people in the blue bar.
Mm-hmm.
Like I guess 108 people clicked on it out of the 800 people that it reached,
Yep.
and then 29 of those people liked it.
Yep. Exactly.
But then there's another one where it's like last week, and then there was like all the ones before that are like really, really low. And then last week or on the 27th or whatever, it's like it reached 1.6K. It engaged. There was 409 people that clicked on it, but only 15 people liked it out of 409.
Right. Which it seems the people who talk about this in the marketing world call these metrics vanity metrics, and there's a reason why people are throwing these, like Facebook is throwing these in your face because they want you to be worried about it. And the truth is, none of this really matters. But they are good metrics. I think I said something about this in several of the posts. Like, every day I check my weight on the scale, but weight's not a good indicator of my health.
Right.
However, if my weight's way off, then I know that I probably need to check on my health. Something's happening. So that's what these numbers are really good for. They're kind of a scale. But the real thing that matters is kind of the bottom line of what are you trying to do? Besides just have people see it, what good does that do? Like what do you want the people who see your work to do?
Sure.
And if that is happening, that's good. If that's not happening, then that is exactly what we need to focus on.
Right.
To happen. And I'm assuming that what you're looking for is people to inquire about hiring you. I mean, ultimately, that's most photographers' number one goal with their marketing is. I mean, if we're using social media, there's kind of this. Social media is social, so like we are people too. We want to interact with others. We want to be important. We want to share those important moments and make a difference in people's lives. We want all that. So I totally get that. I think that's why it kind of depresses us the most that we're only getting like 15 likes. We're like, but this needs to be liked. It's so good.
Right.
But ultimately, as far as marketing efforts go, as far as like, am I doing what I need to do? The question is, are people inquiring? And something that I realize a lot is that people are not optimizing for that whatsoever. I don't frequently. I mean, and I can see on your post, some of the times, like I don't see any of these that have any kind of call to inquire, and you shouldn't do it every single time. It shouldn't be like every post says, if you want to hire me, just give me a call, because then you sound like a commercial, and that's not what people are interested in. But at the same time, what I'm finding is, and I've read this and heard a lot of people talking about this, people like John Loomer and Mari Smith, they know everything there is to know about why Facebook's doing what it's doing and what it's doing, and they're saying if you have 100 people liking or looking at your stuff, that's the 100 people that you really need to be reaching. Like the 2,600 likes doesn't mean much of anything, because that's 2,600 people don't want to see what you have to say. Now, probably more than are actually seeing it do want to see it, but it's that core people that core group that you got to keep focusing on. So something that I've been thinking about doing recently, this is kind of random, but maybe helpful. I'm hoping to start looking for patterns in who frequently likes my posts on. Hey, we got a few new people watching now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
How can you
people. They just commented on the Facebook group.
Oh, okay.
Um,
I'm glad I can be
but
the
I'm going to be looking for people who like things regularly, like even if they're not necessarily related to the customer in the picture, but they still like the picture. Like those
Right.
15 people that like it every single time,
Yeah.
those are your biggest fans, and those are your evangelists. Those are the people who are going to spread the word. And so I'm going to
Right.
try to be
And I do
working
have
on.
a couple people, like core people that do continually like a lot of pictures, even if like one of them is one of my brides, but she likes
Yep.
so many pictures that she's not even in. Like,
Yep.
you know, and and she sent me a referral.
Yep. And see,
So
here's the thing. I bet that if we paid more attention to those people, they would send us even more referrals. Because here's the thing, Facebook is all about top of mind awareness. It's about staying in people's, whenever they need you, they think of you instead of someone else because they've been seeing your stuff.
right,
And so that person is going to be thinking of you all the time, and she probably knows someone else who needs you. And so what I'm going to try to do with those people is reach out to them very specifically and ask, hey, can you think about who might need to talk to me and let me know? Or I don't know how I'm going to word it. Come up with something nice, and I'm going to send out to them. And I think that's one of the big powers of Facebook, is that it shows you who your biggest fans are. But still haven't really said much about like things to get it up, and even to get your reach up. So I'm talking about. Even recently, I've found that some of the stuff that I was doing even a month ago is not working. Like that's how rapidly Facebook is changing. Even when I wrote the original post that you saw, some of the things that I was doing at that time are not working this week, and
hmm,
um, it's very interesting. But
very fickle.
yeah. Here's one thing that I have noticed is working consistently. Um, paying for.
Your posts.
Yep. I'm gonna pull it up real quick.
Do you
So
only boost a post if it has already reached a certain point organically? Like if you're
no,
already seeing that? No.
not necessarily. I will boost a post. Kind of what I was saying a little while ago. If I feel like that is a post that my audience is going to connect with, that I think they need to see, that's the post that I'll boost.
Yeah.
And I'll do it right off the bat, because some people will tell you what you're just talking about, like wait till it gets to a certain point, but that's actually not a factual, like that's based on somebody making an observation that wasn't actually accurate. If Facebook's going to show it to those people who it was going to show it to anyways, like it's not going to take your budget and use it on the people who would have seen it anyways. It just doesn't do that. But that's what people are afraid of. They're like, well, I was going to get it out to 1,000 people organically, so when I boosted it, it showed it to those 1,000 people and charged me for it. But it doesn't work like that.
Right.
Just in case that's what you're wondering about. I'm going to pull mine up here so I can show you an example. I'm going to go to screen share, and if I can get it back up.
And I think I'm kind of doing some tests, like I'm in a Facebook group of photographers, and they're pretty responsive. Like it's a pretty great group. People respond really well.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking about a sneak peek, and so I posted it in that group and said, okay, I'm thinking about posting my next sneak peek from this session. These are the 3 pictures I'm thinking of posting. And I was thinking initially I was going to post the first one, and like 85% said post the third one. So it was like, it's interesting how like different people. I mean, I was gonna probably eventually post the third one because I like it so much, but I was like, but the first one has all this emotion too. But it was like so many people were all drawn to that one picture. So I posted that picture, you know? And so I was like, I don't know if that's a good way to do it or not, but I was just trying to get like a sense from like, you know, what could be engaging and, you know, and maybe I just need to start thinking through more about which pictures I choose to post. I don't know.
I think that that is a good way to do it in some situations. If the people that you are asking, the other photographers, are similar to your target audience, then I think that's a great way to do it. If that's not always the case though. Like photographers think completely differently than most brides.
Right, that's true.
So
I guess I could probably maybe even send it out to like this one bride that's a major advocate for me and say like, hey guys, I was wondering if every now and then you guys might mind being a soundboard for me, and you know, if I send you a couple of pictures, would you mind letting me know which one's your favorite? You know?
Yep, I think that could be smart.
Will be.
Are you seeing my screen right now?
Yeah.
Okay. So here I'm going to show you a specific example because I looked at this earlier and I thought it was pretty good. See, my reach is not all that high on a lot of this stuff. Some of them are ridiculously low, like these, but this is because it's showing individual pictures from an album. All right, so this is the one I want to show you. Here, the total reach was 2596, and the paid reach was 1679.
Okay.
And that was for, I think it was for $5. And here's what's interesting about this: 49 of the likes came from this $5. So, and 84 clicks, 3 likes, 3 page likes. So 3 people liked my page because of this, and 1 comment.
How do you know that the 49 post likes are from the paid rather than the not paid?
So when we're in the insights here, and you click on the post, it brings up this screen, which this screen in and of itself.
Okay, so 98 people liked it, and then you bring it in to see how many from actually affected from the
right
boost.
Here under see results.
Okay, from your boost. Okay.
It shows you right here.
Okay.
And so 49 out of 98 is half of the people who liked this post came from that $5 boost. Well, what's interesting is that this boost was shown only to people who like my page and their friends. So it's pretty targeted. You know, it's already the 4,000 people that like my page and their friends. So it's definitely people who are likely to actually be interested in hiring me at some point. And $5, 49 people liked it, which I think that's pretty good, and I think that also probably helped the organic reach here. The interesting thing is in this post, I think the bride is tagged, but the groom isn't tagged. He doesn't even use Facebook, and the bride barely even uses Facebook. So that's how reliable $5 can be, you know. And the funny thing is, this is the easy way of doing it. This is the super beginner way of boosting a post, just by clicking the boost post here or on your post. There's actually a much more advanced way that's way more effective and much more targeted, but it gets complicated, you know. So this kind of stuff still works. It still does exactly what it should be doing.
Right.
And I think it's totally been worth it. I boosted a post here. I think I boosted this post or this album. No, it wasn't this one. It was another one here somewhere. And like right after I boosted it, I got an inquiry through my Facebook messages. So like that kind of stuff happens all the time. And I think sometimes another thing that happens, like those 49 people who liked it after I boosted it are more likely to see the next post that I boost, because
I was going to ask you about that, because I had heard that sometimes Facebook works in like a snowball, in a sense, like if you post one, really interesting post that should cause a lot of, maybe even not a photography related thing, but just like should bring a lot of engagement,
Mm-hmm.
Then, like, shortly after that is when you should post your wedding picture that you want everyone to see, because if everyone's engaging with your first question, then Facebook's thinking, oh, people want to see this page because a lot of people are interacting with it, so they might show it to more people. And then the second day or whatever is when you like, but you have to keep them like posting things that people engage with. But I don't even know if that's true or not.
It is sort of true. Here's the truth behind it. Like, people are more likely to see your post after they've recently interacted with your post. So that part is true. However, it is way more complicated than that. So the algorithm also takes into consideration the type of post, the other types of posts that are similar to that post that they've also interacted with, the type of post the next post is, other connections between the posts. So like, let's say their friend was tagged in the first post but not in the second post. That might be a reason that doesn't show it to them. Let's say the first one was a photo and the second one was a link. That might be a reason it doesn't show it to them. If you post one photo that has no one tagged and a person likes it, and then you post another photo that has no one tagged, that same person is likely to see the second one because it's the exact same type of post that they interacted with. And even that's probably a way simplified version. There's apparently over 100,000 different elements that Facebook takes into consideration. So
Wow.
it's the algorithm. They've taken out every way that people were gaming it. All these tricks and tips that everyone talks about, and even I was trying to use, they're not working because Facebook's like, well, if you're going to try that, we're going to take it away. So I think that overall, the best way right now is to stay consistent and have. My biggest recommendation to people right now is to have your calls to action take people off of Facebook. I don't know what if you're using, what kind of website you have. I'm pulling it up right now, actually. But for me,
in a month, it'll look even better than it does now. I'm rebranding with Jeffrey Shipley. Do you know Jeffrey Shipley?
I've heard the name. I haven't looked at him in a long time though. So
great. Anyway, so I'm rebranding, so it'll look a lot different than it does now. But
yeah, and I would say, pulling people over to a site that converts is the number one thing you can do, is have a high converting website that leads people to fill out your contact form and then send people from your social media to your website. And if you can consistently pull people over to your website from your social media, that should be your only goal. Like, your only goal is have people fill out that contact form. That's the only metric you should pay attention to. So like, likes, reach, like, say what?
Like, how do you find that you're able to bring people to like my website or your website?
Do you have Google Analytics on your site?
Yeah.
Do you ever look and see like how much of your referrals come from Facebook?
I haven't looked at it recently, but I do check it from time to time.
So that's the way to kind of figure out what's already happening, but ways to bring them over. I mean, posting, like, there's little things you can do here and there, but like sometimes some things I used to do that worked well were like posting a sneak peek and having 5 pictures on Facebook and then saying there's 5 more on my blog, like you can go check them out or something like that.
Yeah.
You can do that kind of stuff, but I think even more than that is just consistently reminding people that you have a website, and consistently updating. If you have a blog attached to the website, consistently update your blog. Update the blog more than you update Facebook and Instagram, because here's the thing, the blog is yours. You own it. You can do whatever you want with it. They can't change the terms of service. They can't take away your following. You completely have control over it. And so if you can use all these other methods that are going to change over time, Twitter, Google+, Instagram. Instagram is on fire right now, by the way. I think I'm going to start focusing on that some for photography and helping.
Yeah, I got an inquiry from Instagram.
Yeah, it is incredible. And everyone's moving to it. They're like, I don't like Facebook anymore. I'm just using Instagram because they're like, I see all this crap on Facebook, but I'm seeing exactly what I want to see on Instagram.
Right.
And so I think that's huge, and we need to take advantage of that. But still, Instagram is owned by Facebook, and
That might
it's
change.
not going to be.
They might start ruining it.
It's going to happen. I mean, eventually, whenever all of the people who are posting the crap on Facebook figure out that all the people they're trying to post the crap to have moved to Instagram, they're going to move to Instagram, start posting crap, and then all those people are going to have to move off Instagram. It's a never-ending cycle that happens on social media. So we have to stay on top of what's current. But if we're always driving to something that we own, like our blog,
Yeah.
then we can do whatever we want with it. So I think that's a huge part of the strategy, is keeping that really current. And then everywhere that you post, just put little reminders. Oh, this is up on my blog, or make sure you check this out because I update it regularly. Whatever you say, tie it back into that, and then you're going to start seeing that traffic that's coming through to your website is converting way more often.
Yeah, I get a lot of. So when I look up my Google Analytics, I should be more focusing on the blog because it's more likely that they'll go there first. Or where do I go on Google Analytics to find out where they're coming from?
I'm going to pull it up so I can tell you, like,
Technology.
Under acquisition, did you click on the acquisition on the left?
Oh, acquisition? Okay. Let's see.
Yeah. Overview gives you a quick summary.
Okay. So my blog has, let's see here. Yeah, so it says, what did that say? New sessions. So mainly, it's all coming from, most of my blog interactions coming from Facebook.
What's the percentage from social?
What was that?
How many come from Facebook? Or the percentage?
It says, okay, so I'm sorry. It says acquisition, and then the first one says sessions and new sessions. What does that mean?
Click on, under acquisition, click on, let's see which one is
social?
The best.
It says social, referral, direct, organic.
Yeah, just look at that. What's your percentage of social?
Social, it says a number. It says 354.
Okay, I see. You're looking down here in the bottom.
Should I be higher? Where are you?
There's a pie chart that gives you the percentages.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it says social is 34.5%.
And then what about your other categories there? You see
referral is 25.9%.
That's really good, by the way.
What does that mean?
That's links from other websites.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
And then it says direct. Direct is 21.8%, and then organic search is 17.9%.
Cool. That's a pretty good spread. I think that's definitely good. But what that tells me is, if I were looking at that, I would definitely be focusing on trying to get that organic search up, and your referrals.
By focusing on SEO?
Yep.
Okay.
And the others are at a good spot. I mean, direct is just when someone directly types in the name. There's a little more to it than that, but it's a little confusing. But then social at 30-something%, like, that's good. That's definitely, you're on the right track. And I think, that 300 and something that you have there now, you can probably get that way higher with the right type of, like, if you're promoting it pretty regularly, once or twice a week, you're going to see that double,
Yeah. Because I blog semi-regularly, and since, weekly. Sometimes it's 3 times a week. Other weeks it's, 1 time a week.
Yeah.
Depending on where I'm at in my season.
Yeah, you're definitely doing good stuff. How do you feel about your overall, are you getting the amount of inquiries that you want, or anywhere close?
Yeah, last year I mean, I was at the number I wanted to be at, but the problem is I just moved, so I'm relocate. So I did. I mean, I was booked every Saturday from June through October, um,
Mm-hmm.
and that's kind of good for me. I don't really like doing double headers, so that's like a good place for me. So I'm like, okay, that's good. But 16 of those weddings were in Colorado, and I've now moved to Seattle, and so they all just flew me out. But it's like, so now every time that someone in Colorado, so the Colorado base is still growing, but I don't want to be away from my family for the whole summer, you know? So I'm trying to right now push Seattle. So that's kind of my focus right now is like, how can I get, like, where I'm brand new to the city, there's hundreds of photographers here. How can I really start getting that going? So, so I have some good things that are coming out. My new website's coming out in soon, and I think that will help in that I started to connect with vendors. So there's like a bridal shop downtown Seattle, and they give a pamphlet out of vendors to like every bride that comes into their store, or like that comes and gets a dress there. And they offered me a spot in their vendor list.
Wow.
Which is great. But I'm tabling it until I have my new website because I want to push that, which is only it's like in a month away. So I'm like, well, I'd rather push the new brand, you know, and because I'm new to the city, so I want to kind of introduce myself in the city with my new website and my new brand, you know.
Yep, and I think that that's a good time to focus on getting your SEO right. With a new blog or new website rebrand, it's definitely important for you to make sure that you're getting the SEO for the new city. You're in Seattle?
Yeah.
So competitive.
Yep. Not only are there a lot of photographers, there's a lot of really good photographers here.
Yeah, I know. Are there like suburbs of I mean, obviously there's going to be suburbs.
Yeah, I mean, I live in Kirkland, which is a suburb of, which is like not a sub, it's just a different neighborhood outside of Seattle, close to Seattle.
Yeah, I would definitely be looking at what I would definitely do some hardcore research on like the volume of searches for very specific local
like start instead of writing on my blogs, like in my blog title, I'll write like, you know, Aaron and Josh's wedding, and then I'll write the venue, and then I'll say Seattle wedding photographer Kelly Lemon in the blog name, you know?
Yep. Yep. That's really good. Here's a really quick tip that's like.
Can I be more specific? Like Kirkland wedding photographer?
Not necessarily. That's where I was saying you got to do the research. You got to see what the volume is.
Who would ever type in Kirkland wedding photographer? You know?
Well, that's the question. Do they? Because they might. Like I'm in Columbia, South Carolina, which is the capital, but I live in Lexington, which is just basically a town right next to Columbia. And there are quite a few searches for Lexington wedding photographers, not nearly the volume as Columbia. So I optimize for Columbia because I'm 10 miles away. But if Columbia were, it's nowhere close to Seattle. I mean, it's like a tiny, tiny city compared. We have 50 photographers. You probably have hundreds.
Yeah. They had a Christmas party, and there were 600 photographers that responded that they would even come.
Yeah, exactly. So you're going to have a much harder time, but the thing is, that means your volume on the smaller searches are going to be higher too. So what I would do if I were in this situation is I'd be looking at the specific types of venues that you want to be shooting in and where they are located in the city and what like sub parts of the city they're going to be in. I would definitely make sure to start including the names of those venues. Venues are a huge key to this. And let me give you a quick golden nugget here. This feels weird, but on your blog posts, if you can make the title, like right now you have it, Kelly and Matt's Beaver Creek engagement session. If you could change that to, if you just basically switched around where you have the double colon there, Vail Valley Wedding Photographer Kelly Lemon, and then you have that's after the other ones. If you switched it around so that was first, and then Kelly and Matt was second, that would actually make a difference in your SEO.
Oh.
Yeah, easy.
So then, is there a way for your blog title to look like something, but then in your URL have it actually be reversed, or will it only? Or
Yeah.
you have to? Do I actually have to have my title say Vail Valley Wedding Photographer Kelly Lemon, and then Kelly and Matt, or you know what I mean? Is there a way I can just change the URL and how it's
You can change
searched?
the URL to look however you want, but here's why it makes a difference, because whenever Google looks at the page, it gives a higher priority to the H1 or the title tag. And so
It gives a higher priority to what?
the H1 tag, which is your title. And
Okay.
so in this case, that is the post title. And
Right.
so what it's saying is, if this is the title of the page, it must be what this page is about. So obviously, and in the order, it only looks at, well, it looks at the whole thing, but like the first part of that, a certain number of characters is more important than the last number of characters. These algorithms are extremely complex. Like the first 27 characters gets 57%, and the second, like but like it does make a difference what you put first in the H1. So um, it's like I said, it feels weird, so some people don't do it, and I'm not telling you have to do it like that, but I do know that it makes a difference. Whether it's a significant difference is up for debate. Um,
Well,
but
if I'm posting some Seattle stuff soon, so it might be good to start it out by saying, you know, Seattle. I mean, that's the thing is that for the Colorado ones, like I might keep it like that because I keep on getting more and more Colorado referrals, but I want Seattle referrals, you know.
right, yeah, and I think that there's definitely, this is kind of completely off topic from Facebook, which is fine, but it's um it's something that you really have to do the research on, because if you don't,
Where do you do the research?
I would start off with Google Keyword Tool, which is part of, if you just Google search Google Keyword Tool, it's part of AdWords now,
Okay.
but you can get in there and you can see the search volume on specific keywords. Like for me, I know that my specific keyword phrase that I'm targeting the most highly is wedding photographers with an S in Columbia, SC. Like that very specific phrase, not photographer without an S, not photography. Like that makes a huge difference. And
Okay.
so whenever I make the
Wedding photographers in Seattle.
right, except
So
for
I need to have
that's
that. Where do I put that in my keywords?
everywhere. But the title of your site being the most important place, and then in the titles of your blog posts being the second most important place, and then throughout the text.
Wouldn't it be weird to have your title of your blog post say wedding photographers in Seattle?
Yep, it is weird, which is why you have to balance it. You really do have to. You have to think about it in a way that a user wants to see it. If you can find a way to word it so that it works for a user and for a robot, then you're doing great. But it gets a little tricky, and
Because if I could just so it doesn't work if I say wedding photographer, Seattle wedding photographer.
that search term might be a really good one too. But again, I think right now trying to attack SEO on Seattle is almost impossible for someone new to the area. I mean, if you're talking about a 5-year strategy, sure, I would say get ready. But if you're talking about for next year, there's no way you're going to show up on the number one page one on Google for Seattle.
No, I'm not going that route really. I'm like attacking the vendors. I'm like taking wedding planners out to coffee. Which has actually been really great because one of the wedding planners has already given me 2 weddings. So that's
And
great.
and the other thing is, you probably can show up on page one for some terms. So like you might find one venue that hardly anyone is showing up on, but it's a pretty good venue. Or even if there's the top 10 are still fairly solid, they're not anywhere close to as solid as wedding photographers in Seattle. So you could probably jump up that that ranking pretty fast. If you know what you're doing and you have a WordPress blog and you title it correctly and all this stuff, you can probably dominate a couple of venues, and that might be enough to drive significant traffic. Like that's honestly, I think that is what me grow quickly.
What'd you say?
I think what helped me grow quickly in the beginning was specifically dominating venue keywords. And I think that in a new area, if I were moving to a new
I photographed a wedding at the Four Seasons downtown Seattle.
Yeah, that's definitely.
So I need to like put the Four Seasons everywhere in the blog post.
Definitely need to have a blog post that talks about it in depth, and if you can make it 400 words or more, that's even better.
You think I should do a blog post just on the venue, like my experience at this venue?
That would be great. I would do that, and I would do a blog post about the event at the venue, and I would link between the two.
Okay.
There's a lot you can, and then I would maybe go back some other time and do a video or something and say, this is me walking around at the Four Seasons and I love it because this, and the lighting is so perfect over here, and this is where I would take pictures, and this is what your wedding could be like, and then I would upload that to YouTube, and then I would link it to that page. Like that kind of stuff, you could easily, Four Seasons is going to be kind of competitive, but
yeah. And I don't even know if it's the exact venue that I want a lot of weddings for, but
right. So, anyways, that is definitely a strategy. I would probably say you're going to see way more results from that kind of stuff. And I mean, just to give you some encouragement, the stuff you're doing on Facebook is good. Like you're not doing bad stuff, and
that's good.
And I would definitely keep it up. Like some people, when they see I'm only getting this many likes and I'm getting more on Instagram, so I'm going to quit Facebook. I think that when you're getting a reach of 800 and 500 and you're getting the kind of referrals to your site that you are, I think you definitely need to keep that momentum going. And
is there anything else that you think I should really focus on Facebook? Like in terms of like, oh wait, someone asked a question.
Yay.
They said only venues that you shot at, or what about venues that you want to shoot at?
Yeah, so I would say on that one, if you have a venue that you want to shoot at, the stuff I was saying about going there and
I would say, well, no, it's your thing. I would say do a style shoot there.
Yeah, definitely. If you can do a style shoot, that's awesome. Do an engagement session there, that kind of stuff. Anything you can shoot there, whether it's just going to the place and shooting some pictures of the exterior or talking to that, like you say you were connecting with vendors. One thing to do is say, hey, I'll take some extra pictures for you. And they may have other photographers who have already done that, but ask them what they need. Like I have a venue here in Columbia that they've got tons of pictures that photographers have been sending them, but he wanted a picture specifically from the river looking back at the venue, and no one had given him one yet. So I'm like, okay, I'll come take it for you, and then take that and then put that on your post. If you've never shot there, it doesn't really matter. I would definitely blog about wanting to shoot there, and then once you do shoot there, blog about that, and you just keep it going. Like I think that I definitely would never try to be misleading in any way of saying like, yeah, I've shot weddings there and I haven't, but I think that you can definitely optimize for it in other ways. It's going to be easier to dominate it whenever you have like if you've done 10 weddings at a venue, then you can really start to dominate the SEO. But even if you haven't done a wedding there, you can start to get on the...
I haven't thought about like really, that's helpful. I haven't thought about really like plugging in the venues. That's good. What was I going to ask you? Okay, so on Facebook, you were saying, so for everybody else that's like watching, you said that on mine, from after 10 p.m., those pictures were getting more interaction. But should other people be looking at their own insights to find out what their page is getting, or is that an overall like rule that you think? Are you saying that's specific to like my page, or is that a general sense that like most people are going to get more interaction after 10 p.m.
That was your specific page. That was just what Likealizer was telling us. So,
Can Likealizer be used by anyone, or
yep.
just okay?
And it can be
So
used
anyone
by
can
anyone.
type in their page and then get in like results.
Yeah, and you don't even have to type in your page. You can look at other people's pages, which is kind of interesting. You never have to log in or anything. You just go to likealizer.com and type in any Facebook page, and it'll tell you information. I think we were having somebody who couldn't get Likealizer to work. It's just a tool. Like there's other tools out there that do similar things. It's the matter of looking at metrics and looking at them in more than one place. So using Google Analytics, using Likealizer, using Facebook Analytics, using all of this different stuff is definitely helpful to try to narrow it down. So if all of them say that you should post after 10, then I would post after 10. Like if one of them says after 10, one of them says in the morning, I would try both. And it's just a matter of testing. Here's another thing about testing, just so people can have this in mind. In testing on Facebook, there's a ton of variables. So you can't just say this post did better after 10, so all posts will do better after 10, because it may be that that post did better because of the venue, or because of the person who was tagged in it, or because of someone who shared it, or because of any other random factor. And another post that you post at that same time may not work. So what I recommend when you're testing that kind of stuff is to consistently post different types of posts at the same time for a week, and then change it up for another week, and then compare the two and see, like, look at the percentage and of the average. If your average is higher at a certain time, then that's when I would post. And John Loomer recommends really testing the lowest hours. Look at your Facebook analytics and look at when the least number of people are online and posting then. Because what he says is you have the least competition in your news feed during that time. So the people who are on are almost definitely going to see your post. And then whenever they interact with it, the people who get on later are also going to see it. So that's an interesting thought that I would definitely test out. Looks like.
There's
Okay.
one.
Yeah, Anna asked about tagging venues on Facebook. Click on their page, you don't see the tag. Yeah, that is something that is kind of frustrating. Tags for other venues and vendors and pages don't really do much of anything, honestly, on Facebook.
Okay. Do hashtags?
Hashtags.
Because hashtags are really effective on Instagram, but are they not really that? Is it really worth hashtagging anything on Facebook?
On Facebook, if you hashtag the right stuff, you'll get some very, very little extra traction. But like if you hashtag photography, then you might get something. But I mean, who's going to hashtag photography in their post? That's kind of dumb. Like that's not cool, right? So yeah, I don't know. Maybe a little bit, but here's the thing about tagging a venue on Facebook.
Would it be better to share something to their page or just post something directly to their page?
Yeah, well, the number one best scenario is if you can share something with them and have them post it as themselves. That would be the best scenario. If they have their settings so that you can post to their page, then post to their page, but it's still not going to show up on their.
It's going to show up as a personal post, not a business page post.
It's going to show up as there's a specific place for. I'm trying to find it here. So like posts by other people will show up over on the left underneath the liked. Well, depends on which order you put it in as the page admin, but over on the left underneath how many people like your page, somewhere there it's going to show post to page, and whenever other people post to your page, it'll show up in that section if the privacy settings are set to allow it. We don't have a door. So the other thing about posting to or tagging people tagging other pages, I should say, on Facebook is that they may get a notification, and so it's going to be it's that it's building a relationship. So you're saying to all of your fans, check them out, and they see that you're saying that, and so they are like, wow, this guy sent me a lot of traffic, or he sent me all his fans, and they're gonna.
And
It's what.
hopefully they're going to want to reciprocate.
Yep, that's what I was just going to say. It's called reciprocity. So like they want to do something back for you, and so it is important to do it, but it's not really going to drive much extra.
I do actually have to get going, but because some people are coming over for dinner. But thank you so much for. I'm really glad that I got to be the example because I have all that like.
Well, thanks for hanging out for so long, and definitely keep me updated on how things are going. And if you have any other questions, just send me an email or something.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Corey. We'll be in touch. Appreciate it. Yeah. Thanks. Bye.
Bye. So, if anyone is still watching, I think I still see some people here in the Facebook. I'm trying to pull it back up here in the Facebook. If you have any other questions, you can definitely type them in here, or I can invite you onto the call so we can talk like we were just doing with Kelly. If you are on, just you can put a question in. Let me pull the question thing back up here. You can put a question in by clicking on the little icon on the top right that has the square with a bunch of little squares. Click on that and then click Q&A. You can type a question in there, or you and if you just send me a Google email address, I can send you an invite to get on the chat if you want to get on. Or if that doesn't work for you, if anybody wants to call, I can phone number and you can give me a call and we can talk some there. Just let me know. I have a question here from Christina. It says, so when you're reaching brides, would it be good to tailor content to the things that they follow, aside from your own photo stories, that is, like bride fitness or beauty, etc.? I bet that is definitely a good thing to look into. Social media is all about being social. So it's all about trying to build connections with people who are like you and who would want to be friends with you. So, and I got your email address there. I'm going to go ahead and invite you on. I'll finish answering this question. One sec. Let me invite Anna here. So, yeah, I don't think it should ever be about being fake or talking about things that you're really not interested in. People like to buy from people who are like them. People like to work with people who are like them. So if you can talk about things that you are interested in, that your brides are also interested in, like if you know that your brides are interested in fitness and you are also interested in fitness, then that is when you should talk about it. If you're just trying to make stuff up because you think that your brides are interested in it, I would say that's going to come across as less genuine. I think that it's not wrong for you to start to get interested in those things. So if you know that your brides are interested in a certain brand of makeup, then maybe you could do some research so that you could be interested in that. Hey, Anna. I see you now. Yeah. I don't think. You have me open in two windows. There you go. Can you hear me?
Barely.
I
But
can hear
I
you
guess
too.
there was a delay in my thing. I had to turn that off.
Yeah, there was a delay in the other screen that you're watching. This should be pretty much live. Can you hear me now?
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, sorry. You can finish answering your question first.
that's pretty much all I was going to say. It's just about being genuine. So yeah, if brides are interested in something and you are also interested, then that's a great time to talk about it. That's pretty much the answer to that question.
Okay. The question that I had was, so I primarily want to do weddings,
Yeah.
but I did a senior session and it's kind of like senior time, you know. I've never boosted a post before, so I was kind of interested in what you're saying about boosting posts. Um, so if I boost like a senior session that I think was really great, even like, would you rather recommend a preview, like just a couple pictures, like linking to your blog? Like, what do you find more successful? And then does that, when you boost like a senior session, does it go to more like their friends or like my, you know, like my friends? Because I feel like the people that are likes on my page are more like my age and wedding people, not necessarily senior age.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm going to pull up your page. What's the name of your actual business
It's
page?
Arpazi Photography, so it's
I got
Facebook. Do you want my Facebook page?
Yep, I got it.
Okay.
I'm trying to find the one that you're talking about. Are you talking about the one with Teresa?
Yes.
I'm going to look at this real quick, just kind of get an idea of what you have on your page.
I'm wondering if I can turn this up. I'm having trouble hearing.
Uh-oh.
Is it better, you think? I'm doing it on my phone. Is it better to do it on my computer?
Probably is going to be a little bit better quality and better sound. Is this making any difference? Can you hear me any differently now?
Um, no. I'm just going to put it by my ear.
Okay.
Okay.
Here's what I'll do. I'm going to cut off your video so that we're not looking at your ear or your pillow.
Now you're breaking up.
Hang on a sec. Nope, can't do that. That's all right. Cool. Um, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm looking at your page here. Where are you located?
Baltimore.
Maryland.
Well, like Towson, which is north of Baltimore. But I just usually like, focus on Baltimore area.
Cool. Okay, this is really quick tip off of Facebook.
Mhm.
It's kind of an SEO tip, but if you are focusing on Baltimore,
Mhm.
I
I
would,
should put Baltimore.
on Facebook, I would probably put Baltimore instead of Towson.
Towson. Okay.
Um, just there's another post on my Bride Formula website that talks about dominating local search results, and it goes into a little bit more about what we call NAP, name, address, phone, and if they don't line up everywhere, then sometimes you'll have problems. So I would either pick Townsend or Baltimore and put all of your information kind of the same. You're going to have a hard time doing SEO for both effectively.
Okay. Okay. Well, I guess my thinking was when I do like weddings and stuff, that's Baltimore, but like portraits and stuff, I do Towson because people don't. I don't know. Like if you live in Towson, you look for Towson stuff, but then weddings, people primarily just go to the biggest city. But is that hurting me? You think?
How big is Townsend?
Um,
Like an idea?
University
Yeah.
here, but it's not. It's. I mean, it's. I don't. I don't know how big it is really, but it's not. It's not small, but it's not huge. I mean, there's like a. It's a. I guess it's a college. It's kind of a college town, but then people who work in Baltimore live here too.
Yeah, it's pretty small. 55,000 population. Um, Anyways,
I'm from a very small town, so to me it's bigger.
yeah, yeah, I know what you mean.
I'm like, it's huge.
um, one more thing here. I'm just looking at some stuff. Okay, so one thing right off the bat, I think that promoting posts are going to be, it's going to be a good strategy for you right now for more than one reason. One is because your page likes are relatively low. I mean, 585 is not a bad place to start, but you know, photography pages, I think is a good goal to get at least into the 1,500 to 3,000 range. Just the whole reason on likes again, I was talking earlier, they're vanity metrics. Like
right
it doesn't necessarily matter. However, social proof does have something to do. It does come into play here a little bit. So if someone's comparing two photographers and one has 500 likes and one has 2,000 likes, then they're going to say, well, why is this one so much more popular? And that does have a psychological impact.
Yeah, sure.
So what's going to happen when you start promoting posts, you're going to get double benefits because you will get some page likes, especially when your page likes are lower. A lot of times you'll get more page likes because it depends on how you promote the post. This kind of goes back to what you were asking earlier. So whenever you click on the promote post button, what's going to happen is it's going to run a page post promotion ad with the default settings, and the audience is going to be by default friend or people who like your page and their friends. That's the default. So for 585 people, that's probably I mean, it's a significant number because it's 585 times approximately 300
friends
on average. A lot of people have thousands of friends, but I think they say the average is 300. So you're talking quite a big number there still. So you are going to be reaching, you're going to be reaching people who like your page. So you said you think that there are more brides on your page than high school seniors, but you're going to be also reaching the friends of those people. So that may not be good because you're going to be reaching friends of brides, and likely those are not high school seniors either. So there is a way to fix that. I'm going to pull it up real quick so I can tell you exactly better answer to this.
It's okay.
So whenever you click to boost a post, are you on your computer right now too? So go ahead and, are you on your computer as well?
Sorry, you're like breaking up.
Sorry. Can you hear me now?
Well, sometimes, and then it sounds like a robot other times.
That's weird.
It's like rah, rah, rah.
That's probably the signal coming in and out. Probably not quite fast enough through the phone.
Yeah, Google Hangout.
Yeah.
I'm on my Wi-Fi network, but I don't know. Maybe it's not working.
Yeah, I'm working on a better solution than Google Hangouts for later. But can you hear me a little bit better now?
Yeah.
Okay. So are you on your computer as well? Like, can you look at your Facebook right now?
Yes.
Okay. So
yep.
Go ahead and go to any of your posts. It doesn't really matter. You're not going to actually pay anything right now, but it's just going to pull up the dialogue. Click on Boost Post on any of your posts.
All right.
Tell me when you have that up.
Boost Post. Okay. That is up.
It should pull up a dialogue that has some stuff over on the right. At the top of that, you should see audience. Do you see that?
Yep.
And the default is set to people who like your page and their friends, but if you click on that, you can change it to people you choose through targeting.
Uh-huh.
And then here, if you're specifically trying to target high school seniors, that's where the age is going to really come into play. So I would change that to like, 16 to 19, something like that.
Yeah, okay.
And then choose, women probably. I'm assuming that the girls are going to be more likely to hire
Yeah.
you. Whenever I choose that for
Right,
mine,
right.
I get what it's still doing right now is I'm still having United States as my location. So you probably want to narrow that down a little bit more.
Okay.
I'm trying to type it into mine and see what happens if I can. That's not going to let you. Oh, countries there. Let's change that to states.
Okay, yeah.
And put in your state. And I probably wouldn't narrow it down to city. I'd probably narrow it down to state because people are willing to travel a little bit potentially. And for me, when I do South Carolina, age 16 to 19 women, I'm still getting a potential of 64,000 people that it could show it to. And so you may even want to narrow it down with interest there a little bit more. You could put in, this is where some research would really come in handy. So
yeah, sure. Okay.
looking at other like high school seniors, maybe the ones that you've worked with or the ones that you're friends with on Facebook, you can do some searches with the graph search and kind of figure out what types of things they are interested in and type in a couple of interests here that could get your ad super targeted. And then when you boost it, you're going to be only showing it to that category. It's not going to even show it.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
And like I said, you're also going to get the other benefit is that some people who see that are going to like your page as well.
Sure.
I would also consider, let me pull yours back up real quick. I would also consider potentially running a page promotion because I think you could get some really inexpensive likes right now.
Okay.
I'm still getting maybe, I think my average right now is about 19 cents per like. So it's not, that's actually pretty good. Photography is one of those categories where you can get pretty cheap likes.
Okay.
So I would at least, if you have a budget that you can put into that, I would say, spend $5 a day and spend $25 and see what it gets you or something like that.
Okay. Okay.
Because you might get that up to 700 or 800 with that's,
oh wow,
that's only 2, 3, like 3, let's see, 20 cents a like, so $1 gets you 5. I mean, it depends. You might get better results than that, or you might get worse. So I would test it and see, because for me, it's been incredibly valuable. I ran one just this last week and got like 300 likes for $30. So, that's the kind of stuff. If you run it at the right time, sometimes you're going to get better results than others. And if you do it slowly over time, it's going to also make your page look like it's growing and you're going to start to get more organic reach.
Okay, sure. So you figure out the right time just by researching, or like, is this like because of like holidays or like seasonal? Like, what's the right time?
A little bit seasonal. I just, it's hard to say. Like if you're targeting brides, I would definitely say that we're heading into engagement season here over the holidays. So if I were ever going to be running a promotion on my page, it would be now, or at least in December, January, while people are out of school, like college schedule.
Yeah.
However, I say all that to just say that if I were you, one of my goals would be to get those likes higher just for social proof. But if that's all you're doing, it could be a waste of money. Like if you're not, like we were talking about earlier, I don't know if you were on then, but if you're
not, if I'm not getting inquiries from it, is what you're saying.
Not driving people to your website, then what good does that do? Which it looks like, I mean, even the first link. You shared a link 7 hours ago that goes to your website, so you are sending people to your website on your Facebook. I see another one 2 posts ago. So that's good. That's definitely good that you're. And here's another one. So even in the past few days, you've had 3 different links to your website.
Yeah, I usually do
Awesome.
that.
Yeah, that's really good. On your website, this kind of goes back into SEO. It's funny because I've noticed this as I've been talking to people about their Facebook pages, like their real problems are usually in their websites.
Because, well, I need to I'm planning to revamp it this winter anyways, but you're saying like the titles and stuff?
Yep.
Yeah, I was just listening to what you were saying to, what was her name? Lauren? Was her name Lauren? Whoever you were talking to before. Yeah, so with this one, I was just kind of lazy, so I just put that. But you're saying with titles, I should put, even on, like, sneak peeks are kind of awkward because there's like 2 different things there, So I just didn't know.
I would post them as separate posts. Even if you only have 2
Oh,
on a post, I would post it as a separate post.
okay.
And I would definitely put in the title, like especially the location of the wedding.
Yeah, yeah.
Other vendors who are involved.
Right.
Make sure the city tag in there. All that stuff. The tags, I see you spent some time putting in tags here. And
Mhm.
to tell you the truth, that doesn't really do much of anything for SEO.
Okay.
WordPress tags. So all of that stuff that you put in here is smart, but it needs to be going into the texts of the post, into the titles of the post.
Okay.
So if you can write a paragraph that uses all of those words, then
That would be helpful. Okay, that's good to know.
yeah. WordPress tags are good for categorizing. So if you're going to tag, what you need
Right.
is like if someone clicks one of these tags, is it going to show them like fall weddings is a great tag because
Mhm.
when they click it, hopefully other posts that you've tagged fall weddings are going to show up, and that's what people are using that for. So
Oh, okay.
as far as SEO, it does pretty much nothing. As far as navigating your website, it does a lot. So it's not like you should give it up. It's just
Okay.
a matter of what you're using it for.
Right. All right. Well, that's good to know.
Yeah, but I think your website, like, don't get too. And you kind of sounded like, yeah, I know I need to redo this. Like, don't get discouraged about your website so much. Like the aesthetics of your website are important, but they're even
Mhm.
less important than just using your website. Like, people don't care too much about
Sure.
exactly how it looks if they're getting.
They just want to see the pictures.
Yep. So if your pictures are there and you've got the right SEO content, your titles and your text, then you're doing fine. Like, don't worry about, like, yeah, work on revamping to match whatever you want your brand to be. Like, it does need, that's the big thing. It needs to communicate what you want your brand to say about you and your work. And if it does
Mhm.
that, that's great. But primarily, your website is a tool to make you money.
Mhm.
And so if it's,
Yeah. Yeah.
get the,
It's just super old. That's all. That's what I was saying. That I
yeah,
literally haven't changed it since I started. So.
yeah. And I mean, it's great. It's a WordPress. It's on Profoto, which are that's definitely my #1 recommended theme. So, and Profoto gives you so many options. You can do stuff in 10 minutes to change
Yeah. Yeah.
it.
It is easy to use.
Yeah, so you're definitely on good track there. And yeah, I would definitely, that's something that I would definitely kind of work on in tandem with building your Facebook. Again, same thing that I was saying earlier to Kelly was, you're not doing bad things on Facebook. The funny thing is, out of all the people who responded, I had maybe 20 or 30 people total, and
Yeah. Yeah.
out of all of those, there were only 1 or 2 who were doing terrible on Facebook. Like, all the rest of them they're like, I have no idea what I'm doing on Facebook. I feel like I'm not doing anything right. And I was looking through and I'm like, actually, most of you are doing the right stuff. It's just,
Mhm.
I think one thing is people need to be encouraged to keep doing it because they're worried about
Yeah.
those numbers that Facebook's pushing in our face. Like, look, you're not getting the reach that you used to get. And they're doing that
Yeah.
so that you'll spend money on getting those numbers up because they know that most people don't have real goals. They just press the button to get the numbers up.
Right.
Um,
Right.
and so I think you're also doing the right stuff. I do think it is important for you to get some of those numbers up, but that shouldn't be the primary goal.
Okay.
Any
Another
other?
thing is, so I've had this business page before they had a lot of options with business pages. Like it's pretty old. And so I don't have like reviews or anything on there just because I had this before they had that option.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to add it, honestly. I've like tried to add it. I don't even know how to do that. But I mean, like, do you feel like those reviews, people look at them? Like, is it worth it? I in some photography groups online, I know people complain because it's so easy for people to just review you when they've never even met you. They'll just
Yep.
like look at a picture and they can put like one, this person sucks, you know, and like so I've seen like good and bad things. Like, would you recommend having those like reviews?
Personally, I hate reviews. I absolutely
Okay,
despise
good to
online
know.
reviews. Like, I think they're the worst thing ever. But that's just my personal opinion. Say anything
Okay.
about, like, the effectiveness of them. If I say if I in my business, my primary place for reviews is on Wedding Wire,
Right,
um,
right. Okay.
and I'm going to start pushing reviews on Google. Um,
Okay.
Facebook, I do think it's a little too easy to leave an anonymous. Well, it's not necessarily anonymous,
Right.
but it's you don't have to write anything. You can just click the stars, and
Yeah. Yeah.
so easy for someone to click 1 star. And I've seen really bad things happen with people there. However, I've seen a lot of people who
Yeah.
have tons of 5-star reviews. So
Right,
that
right.
you know, it depends on how confident
Okay.
you feel when you get good reviews. I think that it's
Right.
okay to have bad reviews in certain places if you can respond well to a bad review, then I think it shows a high level of customer service. If you think you might get a 4 here and there,
Sure.
like, who cares? Like, as long as you can say, hey, I really
Yeah.
understand what you're saying, and I'm going to work on that or whatever. I think that's fine. But just so you know, if you're trying to set them up, your page has to be set up as a physical location to enable reviews. So
Oh, okay.
you'll have to put in a full address and change the settings so that you're a storefront instead of a service, I guess, or at least a service
Okay.
with a full address, and then it'll let you enable reviews and check-ins.
Okay. All right. Well, those are all
Yeah.
my questions.
Cool. Well, thanks for jumping on.
Yeah, thank you. It's been super helpful. A little overwhelming. I feel like I need to like spend time on stuff, but the boosting, that's something easy that I can do. So
I
that's
would definitely
great.
experiment with that. Why don't you, look into it and just try boosting, maybe try that senior boost to the specific audience, and then try a
Mhm.
paid promotion just over on the
Yeah.
left hand side. You'll see promote my page or whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
just put a small budget into it and see what your results are. And then
Okay.
send me an email or a message somewhere on the group or whatever, and just let me know kind of what results you're seeing and kind of go from there.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. And then, oh, actually, my last thing was, do you see how I wrote on Trello the one I wanted to like update my timeline and do like multiple photos, but when I tried to click on the link on Trello, it like just went to a website and it showed me what it was. I couldn't actually download the PSD file.
Hmm.
And I don't know why. I was like, I clicked on it and just kept like opening up a new browser. And it showed me what it was, but I needed to open it in Photoshop to mess with it. So I was like,
Do you
I
know
didn't know if it was something.
what browser were you using?
Oh, was it downstairs? It was either Firefox or Safari. I think it was downstairs. I think it was Safari.
What what may be happening is it may be, I'm trying to see what happens when I click on it. How about this? I'll just email it to you.
Okay. That
When I
works.
click it, it just it downloads it automatically. So I don't know.
Oh,
Maybe
weird. Yeah, when I was doing it, I like looked at my downloads and it wasn't going there. It just opened up in a new window, and I was like, all right. But all right, sweet. Yeah, if you could email it to me, that'd be great.
sure will. I'll do that right now.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. See you later.
All right, bye.
My telling me here now. I'm not sure if that's true or not. If you are still here, I'm still going to be around for a few more minutes. If you have any questions, definitely put them in the Q&A or on the Facebook group. Dina put in a question here and I didn't get around to it. I don't know if you're still here, Dina. If you are, can you, I know you're on the Facebook group. Can you leave a message there that says you're still here and listening so that I know that I'm not just talking to no one right now? Awesome. Looks like you're still here on Facebook, so hopefully you can still hear me. There's a little bit of a delay, so probably not going to hear what I'm saying right now for another 30 seconds to a minute. Okay, so it says that you are, oh, by the way, if you want to get on so that we can actually talk, just if you have a Google email address, give it to me and I will put you on. If you don't want to, that's totally fine. I'll just answer your questions. So I have a hard time generating non-image content. Almost all the posts are from my recent sessions as a sneak peek. Any suggestion for what you do to generate page activity other than posting images? So here's the thing. As a photographer, almost all of your content should be images from your recent sessions. Like that's what people are looking for. Someone's coming to look to hire you. They want to see your most recent work. And don't forget that our number one goal is not to create interaction, is to get people to hire us. So we want to think about what are people looking for if they want to hire me. And the answer to that is they want to see your most recent work. So that should be 90% or more of what you post. The other stuff that I would post would probably be personal updates, like what I've been doing with my kids or in my community if I'm volunteering, or I try to think about things that my clients are interested in. This is kind of like what Christina was asking earlier. Should I talk about fitness or beauty or whatever? If you're interested in those things, then yes, talk about those things, because like I said, they want to buy from someone who is like them. I heard the story one time talking about motorcycle drivers who ride through, whatever, at the beach on the strip, and they're, you're in Alabama. You have ocean there. I don't know if they have the beach like they do here. Anyways, they're riding down, and every time you see two motorcycles pass each other, they always wave. Like it's just a thing. Or if you're like hiking in the mountains, you might pass another hiker, and you're always like, "Hey, what's up?" Like you don't just pass the hiker and not look at them, because you're there and you have something in common. You share a bond. And so brides are looking to feel like there's a connection between you and them. So anything you can post that builds a connection is a good post. So for example, think about what stage they are in life. I don't know specifically where you are, but like for me, my wife and I work together at weddings, and I realized that my brides are engaged, which means at this point in their life, they're pretty interested in the guy they're getting ready to marry, and they're dating, and they are interested in romance and all these types of things. So if I'm posting something personal, I might be thinking about, well, what have Ashley and I done recently that conveys that message that I care about those things too, because I do. And I want to reinforce that. And I haven't done a great job. So if you're looking at my page, you might not see that kind of stuff recently, but that's what I would be posting. Redneck Beach. Nice. I was just in Alabama a couple weeks ago. I was in northern Alabama. What was the name of it? Valley Head, or Fort something or another. Can't remember off the top of my head. But I did a wedding on a sheep farm, and that was really awesome. I would love to come to Alabama more often and shoot weddings because it's really pretty there. So hang on, while I'm over here on Facebook, I'm going to pull up your page. Can you put a link to it there in the Facebook chat? So there is some other stuff that you can do. I would think about wedding tips. I would maybe feature another vendor. So like go to your favorite florist and ask them if you could do a quick interview with like their top 5 tips for brides, make a video, post that on Facebook. You can make the video with your iPhone. It doesn't, or cell phone, whatever you have. It doesn't matter if it's perfect. Don't worry about like setting up lighting and tripod and all that stuff. You could talk about things that are popular right now in the wedding magazines, like that kind of stuff. It's all right, but it needs to be a very small percentage of your activity, because you're not a site like BuzzFeed or Distractify or something like that. Your goal is not, oh, sweet, Sweet Seasons. Awesome. That's really cool. Forgot what I was saying. Oh, your goal is not entertainment and interaction with your post. Not what you're trying to do. You are trying to get people to be interested in hiring you. See your page here. I'm going to go ahead and pull it up. Pictures look great, by the way. Looks like you're posting a bunch of photo updates that are multiple. Oh, there's an album. Looks like you've done a variation of albums and status updates. That's really good. I'm curious to see which one of those does better for you, if you've seen any difference, or if you know how to look at that in analytics. Looks like you've got some personal stuff on here. Looks like you've got some pretty good interaction on some of this stuff too. This, give me your opinion. Got 20 comments. this thing where you said you got a message from one of your brides, like that's really good. That's social proof. That's telling people that's a review. You know, we were just talking about reviews. Well, that's the best kind of review where someone can't just randomly post stuff. You get to decide what kind of stuff that you are posting on your page. So I would definitely use that as the other kind of content. Looking at some of this other stuff that you've got posted here. Can you tell me a little bit more about like what your goals are with this? Say you have not looked at it in a while. Actually, find it depressing how few people see what you post. You know, I don't know if you were around at the beginning of this talk, but I talked a little bit about that. And the thing is, even if just a few people are seeing your post, but are they very interested in what you have to say, even if it's 20 or 10 or whatever small number, that's still good. That's way better than you think. I don't know if you've ever heard of Seth Godin, but he has a book called Tribes, and he talks about how really what you need is a small number of real fans. Not talking about Facebook fans. He's talking about in general followers, tribe members. He says if you can have 1,000 people, he's talking about like big business. So for us, that might be 10 people who are obsessed with you and talk about you to everyone that they know. That's way more helpful than having tons of people who just kind of like you. So wanting to be more visible in the market is great, but also realizing that Facebook might not be the place for that. Maybe it is. Like using paid promotions right now is a good way to be visible. It's a good way to have big reach and big, broad, top of mind awareness. Like the free ride that we've had for a long time on Facebook is coming to an end, and it's just a different type of tool now. So instead of reaching tons and tons of new people for free, we have to pay to reach all those new people. But we can also build a community that we can't build in other places, like Instagram and Google Plus, and they all have their own types of community. But Facebook, I think, is pretty tight knit, and I think that it's important to have those few people who see who see everything that you post, and they frequently like every different thing. So if you have those people that comment on pretty much every post, or they like every post, those are the people you need to be focusing on and reaching out to them for a specific. You need to say, hey, I really appreciate how you interact on my Facebook page, and that means a lot to me. And I was wondering if you could help me out and help me brainstorm how I can reach some of the people that you know, or who do you know specifically that I should be talking to? Give them a very specific way to refer their friends. Give them some business cards. Send them a gift that includes some really nice business cards and say, hey, you've been one of my best fans for a long time, and I want you to promote my business whenever you see an opportunity. Obviously, don't necessarily say it so like business straightforward. Come up with a nice way of complimenting them and showing them that you appreciate it. Don't get depressed about just a few people seeing your post. I think I don't know exactly what numbers you're having. Used to get inquiries every time I posted a picture. I started in 2010. Now come from referrals and repeat business. Okay. So that is not necessarily because of the Facebook algorithm. That's probably partially because of Facebook. But I don't know you or your business, but I do know photographers in general and the trends that I've seen. And here's what I see. Whenever people start off, they're really hungry. They have relatively cheap prices usually, and they're willing to take any kind of work. And they put out specials all the time, and they, I don't know, the people who are looking for good deals are drawn to these new photographers, and are excited to take those people who are looking for good deals. And then after a while, you start to kind of grow out of that, and you start to be a better photographer, start to take on better clients, people who are willing to pay more, and you raise your prices. And the more affluent customers who are going to pay the prices that you have are less likely to just randomly make that decision based on some post they saw on Facebook, and they're going to want to ask someone that they trust, because that's how they get their referrals. Like, that's how they know who to work with. And so I think that what you're seeing from that comment you made last may be a natural part of, and that's a good thing. I think you want to see more referrals and repeat business. I think that as you become more established, that number should go way up, and your number of referrals from something like Facebook should go way down. However, I think that if you, sorry, I lost my train of thought. I was just keeping up with the comments there. I think that Facebook is an effective way to reach people, and I think it comes down to what type of reach are you trying to go for. And I think that it really is what I was saying earlier. It's about top of mind awareness. So Facebook is a good way to be in people's face all the time. And whenever you can pop up in their news feed pretty frequently, they don't even necessarily need you right now, but in a year from now, they're going to want to hire a photographer, and they realize that you popped up in their news feed like 20 times over the past year because they liked you a while ago because of their cousin being tagged and whatever, that's the power of Facebook. And I think that used to be easy, and it used to be free, and now it's not. And that's not going to change. And there's no little tricks that we can do anymore that are going to just allow that to happen like it used to. I think that the paid promotions are still incredibly cheap right now, and they're definitely worth the money if you have the budget to spend on top of mind awareness. Like, it's kind of like radio ad or TV ad. That is all top of mind awareness advertising. And if you don't have the budget for that, then you can't do it. And I think Facebook's the same way. Like, if you have that type of advertising plan in your budget, then great. That's where I would spend it, on Facebook. Definitely, it's more effective than radio and TV, in my opinion, and newspaper, all that kind of stuff, and magazines even. So I'd put Facebook advertising in that same category now, except extremely higher return on investment. In 5 years, or in even 1 year potentially, you're going to see those prices going up on the advertising. All right. So scheduling posts, that's a really good question. There's some updates that are kind of in the works right now on Facebook that are still being rolled out, and there's been some, I don't know what you call them, but there's been some bugs, and people have been talking about them, and I'm talking about big marketers who have millions of followers on Facebook, and they're saying that right now, this was a few days ago that I read this, maybe a week, but probably not even a week ago. They were saying that they're seeing a much lower reach on the posts that they've scheduled as opposed to the ones that they post live. That's not how it is supposed to be. And I don't know why that's happening. I do trust the people who are saying this to know what they're talking about. So I don't think it's just a fluke. Like, I don't think they're wrong or they're just looking at the wrong metrics. Like, if it was a photographer who told me that, I'd probably be like, you're probably looking at your metrics wrong. But this was a big time marketer, and they're consistent for them over the past few weeks. So right now, I have heard that scheduling posts is it's getting a lower reach. That's all I can say. However, a lower reach is better than no reach. So if I know that I'm really bad about posting live, then I would schedule posts. I've been experimenting with it, and I did a few recently where I had a wedding and I wanted to do a sneak peek, and I did 1 or 2 images a day for 5 days instead of 10 at once, and it had a pretty good response. I found that I didn't really like the way that it kind of messed up my news feed, so that when you scroll down, all you see is that one wedding for quite a while. I do think that it's a powerful tool for people who are not good at sticking to a schedule. So if you can spend a lot of time on one day and get 7 or 8 posts and schedule them out, that's better than forgetting to post and putting it off for a couple weeks and not getting to it. So hopefully Facebook's going to fix these things, and we're going to start seeing that scheduling your post isn't hurting you again, but who knows? Dean, I'm kind of curious, if you're still here, what type of reach are you getting? Because you say it's depressing how small it is. I'm wondering what small is to you. If you can pull up your analytics on your page, yeah, I'll tell you exactly where to go. Go to Insights and then go to Posts, and then look down in the last column before the blue buttons that say boost post. You'll see the engagement. What types of numbers are you seeing there? On the blue bar is the number of post clicks, and the pink bar is the number of likes, comments, and shares. So on average, would you say, like right now I'm looking at mine and I'm getting 100 and something clicks, 1.5 thousand, 500, 200, 1,500 again, 1,200, 1,000. That's how many post clicks I'm getting on those types of things. Then I'm getting likes, comments, and shares 60, 30, 50, 20, 20, 40, 60. What types of numbers are you seeing there? talking about the lag on Facebook. I just, I don't know how to answer that because it's going to be a lag. I just saw the comment that said, how soon do you see the comments here? So I don't know when you're going to hear me saying this. I'm more than happy to put you on video or voice chats or however you want to do that, if that's more convenient. I had to get going here in just about 5 or 10 minutes, but I can still answer a few more questions or talk to you a little bit more here. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, no problem. Go ahead and leave the comments here on Google. I think they're coming through instantly for me, and then there's just down. Post reaches 4,000. Are you looking at the overview? Probably. If you're on the overview tab, if you can go over to the right to the posts tab, is where I was talking about the insights being a little more specific down there on the right. You have to scroll past the time of day. Cool. No problem. If you have any other specific questions, I'm going to be monitoring that Facebook group pretty regularly. So feel free to kind of keep me updated on stuff that you're working on and any questions that you have. I'm going to try to answer everything that comes in there. So it was good talking to you and good luck.